CBC Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Ford Motor Company on behalf of your Ford and Mercury dealers from coast to coast. The Bank of Nova Scotia with nearly 1,000 branches across Canada to serve you. Canadian General Electric, progress for people since 1882. And by Molson, Canada's name in beer since 1786. Brewers of Molson Canadian Lager Beer.
The New York love affair with the Rangers reaches its pinnacle as the Stanley Cup Final moves to Manhattan tonight. The welcoming committee numbers 17,000 ticket holders and countless others who wish they could watch in person. The series is tied at a game apiece as a result of Montreal's 6-2 victory at the Forum on Tuesday. For a while, it seemed as though the Rangers would reel off another win. They led 2-0, but the Canadiens came back. Ivo Lambert scored. And then came this tying goal by number 10, Guy Lafleur, his 10th goal of this year's playoffs. Still in the first period, the Canadiens were even at 2. And then Bob Gainey's winner, the third of 6 straight Montreal goals. Gainey beats Davidson through the legs. Now on the busy streets of New York City, the questions are, can the Rangers hold the home ice advantage they've gained? Can they win their first Stanley Cup since 1940? There isn't a New Yorker who doesn't know they're trying. One word in bold-faced headline flashed the result of Game 1. So come with us now to Madison Square Garden for Game number 3, the Montreal Canadiens versus the New York Rangers.
Okay, Dick Urban. And as Bobby Orr mentions, you could feel this crowd and you can certainly hear them, and we are still awaiting the New York Rangers from the far side of the ice, and I am sure when that occurs you will not be able to hear my voice, nor Dick Urban's, nor Bobby Orr's, nor anyone else's. Game 1 in Montreal, the Rangers won it 4-1. Here come the Canadiens onto the ice, led by Ken Dryden, who'll be the starting goaltender. And then in Game 2 in Montreal, the Canadiens came back and won 6-2. And now, from the far side of the ice, the New York Rangers, led by John Davidson. A tremendous roar here at Madison Square Garden, and a standing ovation for the Cinderella team of the 1979 Stanley Cup playoffs, the Rangers. Quite a welcome.
I think in the background, that's the music from Star Wars. I know they had 2 items on the musical agenda for all of this. Music from Superman and Star Wars. So it's up there somewhere. We can't hear too well. They are standing, everybody.
I think Dave Hodge had the keynote in the opening when he said, who thought when we were here in the Challenge Cup Series, this was to be the hockey happening in New York this year? Who thought we'd be back in the Stanley Cup Finals? Well, here we are. This place is just going wild.
I think they're going to try to get the national anthems going here, but I think they might have a tough time, Dick.
One night in the Islanders series, they had to wait and wait and wait, and they finally just started it with the fans still acting as they are right now.
When we do get to the national anthems, the Canadian anthem will be sung by Howard Hensel of the Metropolitan Opera, and the U.S. anthem by popular singer Billy Joel. What are they hollering now?
I don't know.
JD, is it?
Could be.
And now things do quieten down and we can go to center ice. The Canadian national anthem featuring Howard Hensel of the Metropolitan Opera, and then the U.S. anthem and Billy Joel.
And now, Madison Square Garden is indeed proud to have us its guest artist this evening, its own native New Yorker, Columbia recording star, Mr. Billy Joel, singing the anthem of the United States. Here is Billy Joel.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Howard Hensel and
The anthems are over. We are ready for Game 3 of the 1979 Stanley Cup Final. And again, a tremendous roar from this crowd of over 17,000. The officials for tonight's game. The man who will be stepping into the middle of the two linesmen you see now, Matt Pavlich and Claude Béchard. Here he comes. Bob Myers will be in charge of this hockey game. So Myers, the referee, Pavlich and Béchard, the linesman. 31-year-old Ken Dryden, the Canadian starting goaltender, at 2.69 goals against average. And at the other end, as he has in every Ranger playoff game, John Davidson will be the starter. 15 games this season in the playoffs, a 1.96 goals against average. A look at the Canadiens bench and Scotty Bowman, and here we go at Madison Square Garden in Game 3. The series is tied 1 game apiece. Most people tell you this is the most crucial game of the series. Cleared to the Canadian line. Now dumped back into the Ranger zone, and Maloney, number 26, is back to pick it up. Maloney, being watched in the play by Régin Houle, cleared it out to Vickers on left wing. At center ice to Hedberg. Too far ahead. Robinson back to touch it, and icing called against the Rangers.
I noticed when Billy Joel came on, Larry Robinson joined in the applause, banging his stick on the ice. I'll have to ask him if he's a Billy Joel fan. As far as the lineups are concerned, the Canadiens, no changes. Although Bunny Larocque is the backup goaltender. He spent Tuesday night in the hospital after being hurt in the pregame warm-up. For the Rangers, Wilf Nilsson is not in the lineup tonight. Dave Farish is, and Wayne Thomas has replaced Doug Sotard as the backup goaltender. Those are the changes for New York.
And who scored the big goal the other night, the game winner for the Canadiens, Bob Gainey. Now we see the first look at perhaps some line juggling as the Canadiens send out Jarvis, Houle, and Gainey, and the Rangers make a change at the last minute. Duguay will take the face-off. Will pick up the rest of the line. Duguay, Hickey, Farish is out there, and now Sheehan steps in to take the face-off against Houle. Puck is dropped, and the Rangers get it. Hickey clears to Duguay, broken up at center ice. Now it's Gainey clearing it in. Reshner shoots it back out. Early in the first period, Sheehan into the Canadian zone. And the play went offside. I believe Duguay over on the right side and ahead of the play offside.
Probably the start of any hockey game is important, but I would have to think right here they are a little bit uptight from the judging from things, although they've only played half a minute.
I think they'll be nervous for a while, but it's going to be a very exciting game. I don't think anyone's going to try and open it up too early, but like I say, it's going to be a fine hockey game. And I think it could be a very, very physical game because the Rangers have got to hit the Canadiens. You cannot let them skate like they were skating Tuesday night.
Now we have Mario Tremblay and Pat Hickey pushing in one another as they get ready to face off. Hickey and Tremblay.
I think you'll find Bob Myers. He'll try to keep the game under control early, which is there they go.
That was Duguay against Langway in the middle of it. What did they do to each other to start that?
Well, that often happens when you let the players group up like that. They're talking.
There's a lot of talk. Each player dropped the gloves, tried to throw a punch. There they go to the penalty box. From Madison Square Garden in New York, this is Stanley Cup 79. Here they are standing around to begin things. Suddenly, Zingo.
It happens so often when the players are milling around like that. They're, of course, yelling at each other, and then we see what happened there.
So minor penalties against Langway and Duguay, each team a man short, puck in the Canadian zone. Langway clearing it into the center ice area. They work it to Gainey. Greshner breaks it up, and Farish flipped it back to center. Here's Robinson setting up Jarvis, broken up, and Greshner for the Rangers. Number 4. And the play had been called on an offside over on the far wing. But it is, as you could imagine, almost impossible to hear the whistle here at Madison Square Garden. But the play was offside.
Those stats on Ron Greshner show you how well the Ranger defense players do on offense. And Scotty Bowman mentioned as the series began that was a very, very big thing in his mind as he prepared for the Rangers, the mobility and the offensive abilities of the New York defensemen.
Greshner is from Good Soil, Saskatchewan. Here is Plante clearing it into the Canadian zone. Robinson dumped it out. Pierre Plante dropping it back for Marois. Now to Mike McEwen, number 27. McEwen fired it over onto right wing to Plante. Plante with a shot and a slap shot about knee-high. Wide by 2 or 3 feet. Here's McEwen shooting, and it's blocked by Langway. Now over on the boards. They jam up and hold it there. Jarvis coming up with the puck, clearing it over on the other boards. Rangers hold it in. Knocked out by Robinson to center ice. And Marois goes back for it for Montreal. Here's Marois. Lead pass on left wing. McEwen moving in. He's checked, and Chartrand, number 27, back to get it for the Canadiens. Flattened behind the net by Plante. But Chartrand did clear it into the Ranger zone. Davidson off to the side, playing the puck over onto the boards. The Canadiens knock it down. Here's Robinson setting up Lemaire. Shoots one, and that goes off a skate wide of the net. It hit Marois. McEwen to Mario Marois. Scoreless game as Marois circles. 30 seconds left in the minor penalties against each team. Johnstone firing one in on right wing. Savard back to get it. Clears to Robinson. And the Canadiens, led by Lemaire, come to center ice. Lemaire dropping it back, but Plante for the Rangers is there to intercept. Gives it to Esposito. Fires a long one in. And Engblom goes back as Dryden sets it up. Penalized players getting ready to come back on. The Canadiens clear it to center, and now Langway and Duguay are back on. Duguay intercepts the pass. Here's Duguay, number 10. Circles to get away from the close Canadian checking. Flips it into the Montreal zone. Engblom shot it back out. Dave Maloney dropping it back for Vadnais. Vadnais shoots it over onto the boards for Duguay. Duguay trying to get away from Lafleur. He got away from Lafleur, but was checked by Napier. Now Lafleur got it into the zone. Esposito cleared it out. Canadiens. Engblom shooting it right back in. Maloney takes over there for Vadnais. Carol Vadnais to Esposito, to Murdoch, into Don Maloney. Shoots, and he missed by 4 or 5 feet with a shot right along the ice. Here's Lafleur on right wing for Napier. Broken up by Maloney, and Vadnais comes up with it for New York. Here's Vadnais. Has to circle back as Lafleur was on top of him. Now the pass out for the rookie Maloney. Back to the older Maloney, Dave, the defenseman, and the Ranger captain. To Don Maloney, to Esposito. Esposito feeds to Murdoch, to Don Maloney, and that just failed to click. Tremblay cleared it in for Montreal. Now Vadnais back after it. Here's Lambert in the corner. Gets a check from Murdoch. Lambert, number 11 for Montreal. Murdoch steals it away, and Vadnais feeds to Esposito, and the Rangers come back. To Murdoch. Murdoch's long shot wide of the net. And the Canadiens, Chartrand cleared it to center. Here's Farish at his own line to Greshner. Cleared to the Canadian line, and Big Chartrand, number 27, takes over. Right wing pass for Tremblay, clearing it ahead on the other wing for Jarvis, broken up, and here's Tkachuk for New York. Here's Tkachuk, leading a three-man Ranger rush. Tied up by Robinson. Rangers get it again. Hedberg dropping it to Farish, now to Greshner, and he blasted it wide. And the Canadiens, Tremblay shot it to center. Tkachuk to his own line to Greshner. And we have Tkachuk and Gainey getting their sticks up. Now Big Robinson comes into it. A penalty was going to be called anyway on the play.
I think they were both being penalized. Scotty Bowman looks on from back of the Montreal bench as Tkachuk and Bob Gainey, who I don't think Bobby Orr are exactly noted for being rough kind of hockey players, got involved.
Both players, they're a little tight now. They're excited and so on, and they got their sticks a little high, and the penalties were being called.
Still no score. Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York.
Looking for good times. Now you know what you might find. Looking for good times. Whatever catches your eye, and when you raise a glass, raise up Canadian. More sun Canadian. More sun Canadian. Raise a glass to the good times.
Penalties have been announced, and Tkachuk gets 2 minor penalties, slashing and high sticking.
You watch.
Gainey gets a high sticking.
They come together here again, Dick, and watch. Tkachuk gets to stick up again on Gainey.
So they will play 5-a-side right now, but after 2 minutes, all things being equal, the Canadiens will get a power play chance.
15-19 left in the first period. First Scotty Bowman, and now a look at Fred Shero on that ever-present notepad of his.
He never writes in it, he just reads it, Dan.
Whatever he does, he's one heck of a coach. He's been very, very successful.
Each team a man short, and when the minor penalty against Gainey expires, then the Canadiens will have the man advantage, as now Farish cleared it in, and Hull is going to get a penalty. Right off the bat, Hull hooked at the Ranger player, and now the Rangers will have a man advantage, 4 against 3.
And
Well, I don't know about this one, Dick. It's, he gets a stick on him, but, he had it up pretty high.
I think so.
On second thought,
I apologize, Mr. Myers. This is one of the toughest plays in hockey right now. The 4-on-3, it's, to me, the toughest play in hockey. And with the defensemen and that the Rangers have, the way they control the puck and so on, of course, Esposito, the Canadiens, it's going to be a tough thing for them to kill off right now.
And you realize we have Phil Esposito and Bobby Orr working the same game again. Not quite the same as it was.
yeah.
The glory days in Boston.
There's been an ever-going word battle between Phil Esposito and Scotty Bowman in this series, which has been much publicized, and particularly here in New York. So here are the Rangers, 4 against 3, as Hull gets the hooking penalty. Scoreless game. Rangers with a power play chance as McEwen gets away from Lemaire, but Robinson breaks it up. Esposito to McEwen, centered one, and Savard was there for Montreal and clears it down the ice. Davidson setting it up for Greshner. Greshner and McEwen are the defensemen. Murdoch and Esposito the forwards for the Rangers. Lemaire is the only penalty killer for Montreal up front. Savard and Robinson on defense as Murdoch, number 14. Works it to McEwen, broken up by Lemaire, who almost breaks away. Greshner gets back. Lemaire centered for Savard, but Murdoch intercepts, and here are the Rangers on a break. To McEwen. Mike McEwen to Esposito, shoots, and Dryden gets a piece of it. Close-in chance by Esposito. Bill Esposito to McEwen. To Greshner. Back to McEwen. To the side to Murdoch, and it hit the side of the goal from close in. Back to the point to McEwen. Returns it to Murdoch. Murdoch winds up, shoots one, and it hits someone and goes up into the crowd.
That shot by Phil Esposito and the great stop by Dryden. That's the only shot of the hockey game to this point. They've played 6 minutes 5 minutes and 52 seconds rather. And Kenny Dryden, Bobby, came up big on Esposito.
Well, you know, Kenny's a fine goaltender. I think he gets a stick on this, if we can get a replay here. But Mike McEwen made a great play to Phil. And the Rangers are controlling the puck, which is so important on the power play. It's to control the puck, and that's what the Rangers are doing.
Penalty situation, Gainey has 49 seconds left. When he comes on, they'll play 5-a-side.
So Esposito with that great chance, and Dryden with a key save. Duguay will take this face-off against Jarvis to the right of the Montreal goal. 14:08 left in the first period. Scoreless game as Savard comes up with the puck and clears it to center. Jarvis winning that face-off neatly, and the Rangers' Marois at his own line for Vadnais. Savard stepped into him, and the veteran Savard comes up with the puck, got it into the Rangers' zone, and then cleared it into the corner. Davidson is there to pick it up. Now Vadnais over on the wing for Hedberg. Savard is there again to break it up for Montreal. Davidson setting it up back of the net, and the Rangers' Marois works it over onto the other wing to Vadnais, back to Marois, left wing pass to Hedberg. Hedberg, quick wrist shot, and he just missed by 2 or 3 feet. Boy, he gets out of the way quickly. Savard trying to clear it, and he cleared it up over the glass.
Bobby, you're right. When you skate 5 against 4, it's tough on the team with 4s. We look at Ron Duguay. But if you're going to be in that position, killing the penalties, Serge Savard's not a bad guy to have out in the ice.
Well, he's been out there this whole penalty, and talking about Savard, he's never made the All-Star team, and I can't ever remember seeing Serge play a poor game. He's always there, steady. He's not feeling well. He was sick in Tuesday night's game, and he's really not up to par right now, even now. But he's just a fine athlete. He killed the entire penalty.
Gainey with 5 seconds left. Oh, wait a minute now. The Rangers aren't going to... They won't play 5-a-side. Gainey's got 5 seconds left. Houle has 11 seconds left. Get that straightened out. And Kachuk has 2:05 remaining. So there's a 6-second gap of 5-a-side, and then the Canadiens will get the power play chance. I think my mathematics are straightened out.
Eventually, the Canadiens will have the man advantage, and here is Jarvis trying to clear it out and succeeds to center ice. Now Gainey is back on, so the teams will be 5-a-side temporarily. Here is Vadnais clearing it down the ice. Now Houle is back on, so Montreal on the power play. 1:47 left in Kachuk's second minor. So the Canadiens killed off their shorthanded situation. Now they have the man advantage as Schutt moves to the line. Broken up, and Quant drops it back, and the Rangers' Dave Maloney clears it away. Engblom, number 3. Being watched by Johnstone. Engblom gives it to Lafleur. Lafleur cleared it to Schutt, to Robinson. Into Lemaire. Back to Robinson, return to Lemaire. Lemaire centered, here's Schutt, he scores! Schutt!
The first Canadian shot of the hockey game, only the second overall. And Bobby, you mentioned to me before the game started how impressed you were with Steve Schutt, the way he finished the game on Tuesday. And he's in the spot where he likes to be, right here.
I think the Ranger defenseman turns away from Schutt. Schutt floats into the net, and Lemaire passes out before he goes behind. See, everyone has turned away from him, and you know, Davidson went down a little bit, and
good call, Bobby. You can see it right here. It's
right
Maloney who skates in front of the net, and Schutt comes in behind him, and he picks the corner perfectly. So the power play pays off for Montreal. And the Canadiens have a 1-0 lead.
When that puck is around your net and you look at someone that's standing near the net, you should never, ever turn your back on him, because as soon as you turn your back, he's going to go somewhere else. And Schutt floated in there, and Lemaire made a great play to him.
The scoring play was Schutt, his 4th of the playoffs from Lemaire and Robinson. 7:27 the time, a power play goal, and the Canadiens lead it 1-0. So the Canadiens penalty killing, particularly Savard, held the Rangers up, and then the Canadiens on the power play come back and score. Here's Don Maloney to center ice. They lost it, and Gainey takes over for Montreal. Now Lafleur at center, upended by Farish. Now Greshner to Don Maloney. Maloney trying to get away from Lafleur, gets it in across the line. Engblom tying up Maloney. They race to the corner. They jam up. In comes Lemaire, in comes Murdoch, and they hold it, and the faceoff will be in the Montreal zone.
This is Stanley Cup 79 from Madison Square Garden in New York.
Welcome to our
You're confirmed in Montreal and Vancouver. And you're going to love the ending.
Beat out people-pleasing faces.
Holiday Inn Hotels are #1 in the world, with the best locations near where you want to be.
I can walk.
The most popular choice of locations.
Wherever you go in this whole big traveling world.
We want to make you comfortable.
Holiday Inn is #1 people-pleaser.
At 7:27 in this first period, the Canadiens score in the power play. It's Robinson to Lemaire, and as Bobby mentioned, you'll see the defenseman with his back to the play get caught as Shutt picks the corner. 1-0 Montreal.
The man who scored the goal on the bench is Steve Shutt. Here's Esposito, a quick chance for the faceoff, which was wide. Lambert now clearing it, and Risebrough for Tremblay at center. Mario Tremblay trying to work around Parrish, who hits him with a hip check. They both went down. Tremblay tries to center. Lambert in the corner, does center. Oh, and Tremblay tipped it wide as he was wide open. Risebrough's shot blocked by Parrish. Risebrough hit by Parrish this time, and Esposito gives it to Greshner. Going to be a penalty coming up on the play against Montreal. As Greshner works it to Parrish, Lambert intercepts, and as soon as he does, the delayed penalty called against the Canadiens.
It's Risebrough on the retaliation to Parrish with the score. The Canadiens won, the Rangers nothing. This is Stanley Cup 79.
May 22nd, and the question is leadership.
Certainly, a lot of people are fed up with Trudeau, you know. Perhaps I'm fed up with Trudeau in some ways, but I think he's the more capable man. As far as leading, the only leader we've got is Trudeau.
I don't see Joe Clark's. I don't see any strength there.
I'm going to vote for Trudeau again.
We need tough leadership to grow. A leader must be a leader. Support Prime Minister Trudeau.
Montreal's Doug Risebrough in the penalty box. 8:32 elbowing the call as he exchanged elbows with Dave Parrish of the Rangers. So the Canadiens again shorthanded. And Esposito's at center against Jarvis.
Sixth minor penalty of the game thus far. McEwen feeds it to center. Robinson on the Montreal defense, but Savard cleared it into the Ranger zone, and Greshner gives it to Esposito. Back of the net for Greshner. To his defense partner McEwen, and Mike McEwen trying to get away from Gainey. Gives it to Murdoch. Murdoch to Greshner. Rangers all bottled up by this Canadian forechecking in their own zone. Around on the boards to Esposito. Here's Jarvis in on top of him. Jarvis trying to tie up Esposito. The Ranger veteran, number 77, Phil Esposito to Greshner. New York on the power play as Greshner fired it ahead to Don Maloney. And as Savard goes back and gets to it first, it is icing called against the New York Rangers.
Kenny Dryden has faced just one shot, a great chance for Phil Esposito, and Dryden made the save, and it, of course, was a strange set of circumstances when Dryden became the starting goaltender Tuesday when Larocque was injured. There is Rod Gilbert. He's been our guest a couple of times during the playoffs. Rod works for the Rangers now, and sitting in just behind him is Paul Simon of Simon and Garfunkel fame.
Looking at Gilbert, he had a little mouse under his eye. I thought he had retired.
That's right. Let's play old-timers hockey.
Here's Lemaire against Esposito. 1:18 left in the Canadiens' penalty to Risebrough. Montreal controlling from the face-off, but now Esposito to Greshner. Back along the boards for Don Murdoch. Over to McEwen, number 27, Mike McEwen. One of those young, mobile Ranger defensemen. Out to Maloney on left wing. Fires one into the Montreal zone. Robinson beats Murdoch to it and played it off the boards into the center ice area. It hit the linesman, Matt Pavlich, actually, and he limps around. Here's Greshner to Don Maloney. Trying to work around Savard, who tied him up, and then Poole cleared it to center. Greshner back after it. Lead pass for Mike McEwen. McEwen leading a four-man Ranger rush. Leaves it for Don Maloney. He drops it back. Hedberg to Don Maloney. Maloney trying to make a play. Centers to the other side. Vadnais backhander stopped by Robinson, who quickly cleared it away. 25 seconds left in Risebrough's penalty. Here's Esposito. Leaving it for Vadnais. Vadnais moving across the line, and Esposito had been knocked in offside by Mario Tremblay. And the face-off will be at the Montreal line.
Well, you're looking at the back of the head of Ulf Nilsson of the Rangers. There he is. Thank you, Ulf.
He's better looking that way,
That's
Dick.
right. Well, another Ranger employee in civvies. He tried to make a goal, but Bobby, coming back after the broken ankle he suffered late in February, but he suffered some injuries again Tuesday night, and it doesn't look as though he will be back again
Nielsen
this
and,
year.
and Hedberg, they were wondering if they could take the heavy going in the NHL and so on. Great hockey players, just great hockey players.
Only 13 seconds left in Risebrough's penalty. Chartres attempting to clear it down the ice, cleared it up over the boards, and the faceoff will be back in the Montreal zone. Only one shot on goal. As we look at the Ranger backup goaltender Wayne Thomas, only one shot on goal, but the Rangers, particularly Dick, have missed the net several times.
Well, the total shots, one apiece after 10 minutes and 23 seconds. Strange.
Now just 10 seconds left in Risebrough's penalty. Puck to the corner, Chartres on it for Montreal, cleared it, and Gainey gets it to center ice. Here's Gainey moving in against Badney. Gainey shoots it, he hit the outside of the left goal post. Tkachuk, back of the net, setting it up for Badney. As the Canadiens hold it in, Gainey over onto the other wing, centered for Houle, he is checked. Canadiens are now back at full strength. Tkachuk behind the net. Gets away from Gainey, passes to Vickers. Number 8, Steve Vickers clearing it in. Engblom is there, trying to shoot it out. Gainey couldn't clear it. Now Jarvis, after the puck, does clear it and cleared it up over the boards at the Montreal players' bench.
This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York.
Kentucky Fried Chicken is really finger licking.
Good chicken.
Kentucky Fried Chicken is really finger licking. Good chicken!
There's only one Kentucky Fried Chicken, always cooked fresh, with Colonel Sanders' original secret recipe of 11 different herbs and spices. Dinner's ready when you are.
Colonel Sanders, boys and girls, make it really finger licking.
Good chicken.
39 years without a Stanley Cup. That is the Rangers' story as of this year. And that is the longest Stanley Cup drought for any team that's been in the league that long. I guess you refer to that as the 6-0.
The Flower, as he is called, Guy Lafleur, number 10 out on the ice for Montreal. Canadiens leading 1-0. The goal, a power play goal by Schutt. Now Montreal trying to work it in. Engblom couldn't get it in. Here come the Rangers. Duguay on right wing, and Langway, number 17, is there to break it up. Couldn't clear the zone. Now Lafleur carries out on right wing. Here's Lafleur moving in, quick shot, that deflected off Marois wide of the net. Marois roughs up Lafleur, and the Rangers get it to Duguay, and we're going to have a slashing penalty against Mario Marois.
You see Marois puts the wood on Lafleur here. I don't think he hits his body. I think he slashes his stick. But he puts pretty good slash on him.
The only goal of the game and the Canadiens' only shot of the game, and it was on a power play. As we take a look again to the left of your screen, right there, you see Marois with Lafleur.
I think it's a pretty good call.
So the Canadiens get a full-fledged power play right here with Marois in. That should read 11:26, the time of the penalty to Mario Marois.
Story of the game thus far has been the Canadiens' great ability to kill off the penalties and then to take advantage of the power play they did have and Schutt score.
I think the Canadiens confused them down on killing that penalty. They went in forechecking and they were staying right in deep, and that confused the Rangers.
Well, there's Montreal with another big power play opportunity as Lafleur moves into center ice to face off against Tkachuk. Tkachuk gets it to Dave Maloney. Maloney checked by Lambert, but Vadnais is there for New York and clears it into the center ice area. Number 25, Jacques Lemaire to Robinson. Back to Lemaire. Lemaire is the man who set up Schutt on that power play goal earlier by Montreal. Puck into the Ranger zone, but Vadnais quickly clears it away. Here's Robinson. Working out of the Montreal zone and leading a rush to center on right wing to Lambert. Leaves it for Lafleur, and he couldn't handle it. And Tkachuk comes up with it for the Rangers. Robinson at his own line to Lemaire. Lemaire around on the boards to Robinson. Back to Lemaire, out for Lambert. Dave Maloney is there. Here's Tkachuk working into Hedberg, right in, and Dryden comes up with a great save on Hedberg, who moved in on right wing. Canadiens come back, led by Gainey. Gainey leaves for Lafleur. Shooting, and Davidson a stick save. Maloney and Robinson go to the corner. and hold it there. And Dryden with another key save, this one on Anders Hedberg.
People often say, Bobby, Kenny Dryden, they feel, the experts claim, doesn't challenge the shooter perhaps as often as he should. That time he certainly used that particular ploy on Hedberg.
He certainly challenged him on that play.
Good short-handed chance for the Rangers. Kachuk to Hedberg.
For all young goaltenders, watch how far he comes out of that net to cut down the angle. Great save.
The other end right after that, it was Davidson off Lafleur. So the shots on goal are even. 2-2, but that's a very low shot total overall at this point of the first period.
Got to keep in mind the Rangers have scored 6 shorthanded goals in playoff hockey this season, and almost 7, except for a great save by Dryden.
And of course, they did score a shorthanded goal in game 1 of this series against Montreal as Kachuk gets a good hand. Here's a quick shot by the Canadiens. Davidson cleared it away. Now Dave Maloney trying to work it free, is well tied up. The Rangers, Johnstone gets it. He fires at the length of the ice. 42 seconds left in the penalty. Here's Lafleur. Leading a 4-man Montreal rush. Hard shot, and he just missed with a shot from outside the blue line. Rangers trying to clear it, but the play had been whistled down.
If you're going in to check Lafleur, you don't want to be stick checking him. If he picks up that speed and he's over center ice with that puck, he is dangerous.
It's going to be a bit of a drop shot here, I thought. And it missed on the stick side. I don't know where the whistle went there. I guess the referee lost sight of the puck right there. Davidson got rid of it, but the whistle had gone. 33 seconds left in the New York penalty to Marois. John Davidson, the 6 goals against him Tuesday night, the most in the playoffs in one game this year. He has been the big hero for the Rangers, especially in that Islanders semifinal.
Now the Canadiens from the face-off get it to Savard, over to the other point to Robinson. Fired it around on the boards. Kachuk trying to clear it, and Dave Maloney does to Duguay. Duguay tried to flip it over, but Napier has it for Montreal. Mark Napier. Stick handling in. Still has the puck. Demondu, quick shot. Davidson the save. But he looked in behind him as he went to his knees to make the save. He wasn't sure where it was. And the Rangers clear it down the ice. Dryden out of the net. 2 seconds left in Marois' penalty. Lafleur behind his own goal. Marois is back on. Rangers have killed it off as Lafleur works in on right wing. Here is Lafleur. Being watched by Farish, who tries to squeeze him out of the play, and it's dropped back but intercepted. And Pointe for New York moves in across the Montreal line. Pierre Pointe over on right wing to Maloney. Maloney to Esposito. Dryden picked out the pad and kicked it away. Rangers get it to the corner. Langway to Napier, and Napier then shoots it down the ice. And as Farish goes back and plays the puck, icing is called against Montreal.
Live from Madison Square Garden in New York, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
When I was growing up in this country, owning a home was taken pretty much for granted. For many today, it's a dream. The people at Scotiabank believe in dreams. Dreams and hardworking people. If you've got a new home in your future, see the people at Scotiabank. When it comes to your dream, they've got everything you need.
Scotiabank, just around the corner, right around the world. Scotiabank.
45-year-old William Scott Bowman, the coach of the Canadiens. His club leading in the game 1-0. 5:52 left here in the first period. Already on a face-off, Lemire wins the draw on Langway. Cleared it out onto the right wing boards. Farish held it in. Langway has to go back for it. Cleared it out on the other side. It takes a crazy hop to Lemire. He tried to set up Shutt. Greshner breaks it up. Now Langway to Steve Shutt. Dropping it back, and the Canadiens come to center ice as they fire it in. Lemire clearing it in. Greshner back to get it. Feeds to Esposito. Lemire tying him up. Lemire to Houle. Murdoch takes him out of the play. And Farish, number 3, seeing his first action in the finals, clears it, and the Rangers dump it down the ice. Dryden out of the net, setting it up for Brian Engblom. At center, trying to beat Tremblay. McEwen is there for New York. To Marois. Left wing pass to Maloney, but Tremblay intercepts. Tremblay trying to work it in to Lambert, but the play goes offside at the New York Ranger blue line.
The puck took a funny bounce off the glass over there, Bobby, and it brought back memories for me of the Challenge Cup second game when Borja Salming whipped it around.
Same corner, too.
Exactly. Went right to a Soviet player. That was part of their comeback after they'd been down 4-2 in the second period. There's Mario Tremblay.
He's out on right wing with Risebrough at center, Lambert on the other wing. The Rangers with Sheehan, Duguay, and Hickey. McEwen for New York. On left wing to Hickey. Feeds it in to Duguay, and Duguay was just in ahead of the play at the Montreal blue line and offside.
Reminder that Saturday night game 4 starts at 9 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock. A later than usual start for game 4 in this Stanley Cup final.
And that is because the circus is at Madison Square Garden. They had a performance here earlier today in the morning, and they was concerned about what the ice conditions would be here tonight. How does it look, Bobby?
I was down just before the game, and a little chippy, but not that bad, Dan.
As part of the apparatus, Dan Kelly and Danny Gallivan do high wire acts after the game.
Here is Savard trying to move out on left wing, flips it to Risebrough, tipped away, and Duguay cleared it back in. Lupien for Montreal, number 24. Leaving it for Savard. Now to center ice to Lambert. Lambert trying to work it into Risebrough. Scores! Risebrough!
Boy, the Canadiens are making the most of their opportunities. Their fifth shot, second goal. And Risebrough, I'm wondering there, Bobby, if, Davidson maybe thought he might pass it. He was off to the left side.
Well, Lambert makes a good player. He moves the puck, moves it quick, a good play. Marois might have been over a little further. It was a 2-on-2, and maybe he could have been over a little bit further.
Seemed to touch Davidson's skate a bit, perhaps, and bounce.
And the puck way over there, it looks like Davidson is pretty deep in the net, too. The save that Dryden made earlier on Hedberg, Risebrough was just about in the same position, and maybe Davidson could have been out a little further.
And that's Risebrough's first goal in the playoffs. And the Canadiens have a 2-0 lead as McEwen works from behind his own net. Trying to feed it out, broken up by Napier, over to Gainey. Here's Gainey in front, and Davidson just tipped it away from Jarvis. Back comes Hickey, cleared to center. Broken up, Rangers have it, and they lose it again. Here's Napier trying to feed it in. This time broken up and cleared away by Marois to Hickey, ahead to Sheehan, and Robinson is there to knock it back out to center. Rangers shoot it in. Robinson this time carries out on right wing to Napier. He's tied up by McEwen. Now Chartrand trying to clear it in. McEwen knocked it down. Tkachuk coming up with the puck for New York. Canadiens are leading 2-0 here in the first period as Hickey works his way to center, but Lambert is there. Hickey feeds into the center ice area. Robinson shoots one into the Ranger zone. Vadnais back to get a check by Houle. Here's Régin Houle to Lemaire. Quick slap shot wide of the net. Lambert and Vadnais to the corner. In comes Tkachuk. Around on the boards. Canadiens, Houle knocks Dave Maloney down, trying to center, but Tkachuk checked him. And Tkachuk leads the Ranger rush to center. Over to Vickers. Vickers and Chartrand go to the corner, and Chartrand gets there first. Vadnais at the point holding it in. Now Robinson on the boards, couldn't get it out. Rangers, Vickers battling, but the Canadiens come up with it and clear it down the ice. And as Maloney goes back and touches it, icing is called against Montreal.
2:31 remaining here in the first period. For a look ahead as to what's coming up in our first intermission, let's join Dave Hodge.
Men in the booth have been talking about the offensive strength from the Ranger blue line, and in the intermission I'll be talking to the leader in that department, Mike McEwen. We'll have a film look at the history of this New York Ranger franchise, and Dick and Bobby Orr will have more to say about the first period.
We have 2 minutes and 31 seconds left in the opening period. 2-0, a power play goal by Schutt, and then a goal by Risebrough, his first of the playoffs. That scoring play on the Risebrough goal, Risebrough from Lambert and Savard at 15:44. Engblom from the face-off to Langway, and the Canadiens working on right wing to Lafleur. Lead pass for Gainey. Vadnais takes it away from Bob Gainey. Now Vadnais into the center ice area for Kachuk to Hedberg. Hedberg shoots one around on the boards. Digging in is Vickers. He was checked. Hedberg back to the net. Bumps with Lafleur. Langway coming up with it and clearing it over the glass.
Bobby, Scotty Bowman 2 or 3 times this period has, as soon as the puck has been dropped on a face-off, had his players head right to the bench and has made a quick change. Right there, he left Lafleur on, took Lemaire, and shot away from that Kachuk line.
You'll find both Shero and Bowman will mix up their lines all night long. Scotty has his idea who he wants to play against different players, and Freddie doesn't do it as much, but he will do it a little bit. But Scotty will do it all night long.
Esposito getting ready for a face-off as we look at the Ranger coach, 53-year-old Fred Shero, a couple of Stanley Cups in Philadelphia with the Flyers, and now he has the Rangers in his first year here in the finals. Murdoch holding it in, but the Canadiens come up with it and flip it into the center ice area. Don Maloney has it there, trying to shoot it in. Engblom knocks it down. Engblom to Lafleur. Now it is Farish on right wing, cleared in by Murdoch. Engblom is back to pick it up. Owen Engblom is wrapped into the boards by Don Maloney. But a couple of Canadiens come back to help out. They jam up in the corner. Puck still loose, however. Still loose, and Don Maloney trying to get it. Now Lafleur has it on the boards, and Maloney tied him up. And the faceoff will be in the Montreal zone.
You know, Freddie's got Esposito out there with Lemaire, with the Lemaire line, and in Montreal in the first 2 games, that's the line that Scotty had Lafleur playing against. So obviously Freddie wanted Esposito playing against the Lemaire line, and Scotty had the last change in Montreal, and we're right here in New York, and Esposito is playing against the Lemaire line again.
Poole is at center. Or pardon me, Lemaire is at center against Esposito. We're down to 1:28 left in the period. Here's Savard trying to feed it out. It comes to center, and Greshner for the Rangers. Over on left wing, got it across the line. Lemaire shot it back out. It goes into the Rangers zone. And Greshner back to pick it up. Canadiens are leading 2-0. Farish, number 3. For Esposito at center, he got it into the Canadian zone. Robinson hustles back for Montreal. Robinson trying to get away from Esposito. Cleared it on the boards. Farish knocks it down. His shot wide of the net. Ryden sets it up for Lemaire. And as the Canadiens clear it on the boards, it goes all the way down the ice. Greshner back to touch it, and icing against the Canadiens.
Well, again, we refer to the very low total of shots on goal in this hockey game with 50 seconds left in the first period. There you see it, the Rangers with just 3 and the Canadiens indeed with just 5. But the big difference is the Canadiens have scored on theirs. They scored on their first, and they scored on their 5th. As Ulf Nilsson's involved in conversation in back of the New York players' bench.
Only 50 seconds left in the period. Ron Duguay getting ready to face off. Jarvis, as he usually is in key situations in the Montreal end, or quite often is, out to take this important face-off. Duguay against Jarvis. And Duguay gets the draw, but the Rangers have trouble at the blue line in holding it in or controlling it. Now it's shot in by Marois. Here's Savard behind the net. On left wing to Gainey. Gainey handed it right to Hickey at the Ranger line. Gainey gets it again. Tried to shoot it in. Now Gainey does. Gainey looking for Jarvis in front of the net. Does tip it in front, but Davidson cleared it away. And Pat Hickey feeds to Sheehan. Bobby Sheehan at center to McEwen. 18 seconds left in the period. McEwen dropping it back. And Jarvis is there for Gainey at center. Canadiens come back. Moving in. Centered in front. Gainey, a deflection, and Davidson slides across. And Marois takes over. Firing it down the ice, a bouncer. Dryden makes the save. And the horn goes to end the first period here at Madison Square Garden.
And that last chance by Gainey was called a shot on goal. So the shots, and as was that last long one by the Rangers, so the shots end 6-4 in favor of Montreal. The goals in the period by Steve Shutt on a power play and by Doug Risebrough. And so the score at the end of the first period, the Montreal Canadiens 2, the New York Rangers nothing.
Second period coming up with the New York Rangers trailing the Montreal Canadiens 2-0. The scoring in the first period. Steve Shutt, a power play goal, his fourth of the playoffs at 7:27. And then Doug Risebrough, his first of the playoffs at 15:44. Montreal out shooting the Rangers 6-4 in the first period. And as well as scoring 2 goals, the Canadiens carried over from Game 2 into Game 3 with some great checking and great defense.
Again, a reminder that Game 4 to be played here in New York Saturday starts at 9 o'clock Eastern time. The circus has to get a couple of matinees in that day here in New York. 9 o'clock for Game 4 on Saturday. As we look at Big John Davidson out of Calgary and a look at that feature on the New York Rangers and their history and their last Stanley Cup victory back in 1940 reminds us that our good Hockey Night in Canada friend Babe Pratt out in Vancouver was a member of that New York Ranger team. And we say hello to Babe and anybody else from the Rangers of 1940 who may be looking in tonight, especially Mr. Brian Hextall, if he's watching from his home in Manitoba, who scored the overtime winning goal 39 years ago.
That's referee Bob Myers, Stan Kelly, Dick Irvin, and Bobby Orr ready to go with period 2. The Canadiens 2, the Rangers nothing. Canadiens starting with Jarvis at center, Gainey on left wing, Houle on the right side. Rangers with Bobby Sheehan stepping in to face off against Jarvis. Sheehan flips it over onto the wing to Hickey. Hickey's on left wing, Duguay on right wing, and the Rangers clear it in. Robinson trying to shoot it out. Badney knocked it down. Now Duguay and Robinson go to the corner. Canadiens fired out on the boards to center. Dave Maloney is there. Over to Sheehan to Duguay. Duguay trying to go around Robinson, but the play was offside.
Well, the Rangers showing a little bit of zip, Bobby, in the early seconds here. They've got to start getting shots on goal. They've got to start, I think they should start, if nothing else, firing from long range, just to try to use whatever speed they have to get in to the Canadiens.
They've certainly got to get a goal here very quickly, and they certainly do not want to let the Canadiens go up 3-0. Coming back from a 3-goal deficit against the Canadiens, it would be a very, very tough task. I think you're going to see a different Ranger team. I didn't think they skated that well in the first period, and I think they will this period.
From the face-off, Robinson takes a whack at it. He missed it. Hickey had it momentarily. He and Lambert jam in against the boards. In comes Robinson. Puck still loose, however. And now Lambert takes it and slides it to center ice and into the Ranger zone. Davidson setting it up for Maloney. Maloney beating it out on the wing. Broken up by Tremblay, who dumped it back in. Davidson trying to feed it out. Now the Rangers, Badney comes up with the puck, but they whistle it down, ruling it had been batted ahead from one player to another with a gloved hand.
As we look at a smiling fan here at Madison Square Garden, Bobby mentioned the Rangers didn't play all that well at home. Statistically this year during the regular season, they won 19, lost 13, and tied 8. In the playoffs, it's been a different story, winning 5 and losing 1 here in Madison Square Garden.
We've played 52 seconds of the second period. Again, you see some of the circus equipment here at Madison Square Garden up high in the building. Tkachuk getting the puck back into his own zone, and Parrish turns and picks it up out on right wing for Greshner. Now to Hedberg. Hedberg firing one in, around on the boards, digging in after it is Vickers. He missed it, and now the Canadiens' Mondeau gets it and clears it to center ice. Rangers Greshner in control as the Rangers trail 2-0. Now Parrish, number 3, backhanding one in. Dryden cleared it away. Here's Hedberg dropping it back to Parrish. Parrish shoots one. That's blocked in front of the net. And I think it was Mondeau who was flat on the ice and blocked it. It was.
From Madison Square Garden in New York, this is Stanley Cup 79.
Here's a good close-up look at the veteran Ranger center, Walter Tkachuk. Only player still around who played on that last Ranger team in the finals. Here's Langway. Trying to feed it out, and does, all the way down into the New York zone. Davidson plays the puck, however, over on left wing for Vickers. Engblom holding it in. Vickers comes up with it, and here's Steve Vickers, number 8, on his wrong wing. Feeding it ahead, and Hedberg was hit by Langley with a solid check. Jarvis tried to move around Greshner and was unable to. Greshner clears to center. Engblom has it. Engblom headmanning it to Gainey. Gainey with a blast that's well wide of the net and high off the glass, and it comes to center. And now we're going to have penalties. Gainey and Greshner were tangled up, and Gainey is apparently getting a penalty.
Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York.
In the world of Amway, this could be you.
You know, we never had the money to feel really independent until we discovered Amway. Started part-time.
We're earning extra income as Amway distributors, bringing others into it.
We run it. We're our own boss.
And being more independent is the best security.
When someone wants to tell you about Amway, listen and get the whole story.
With the world of Amway, you can do it too.
Bob Gainey of the Canadiens off for slashing at 2:08. Bobby mentioned how the Montreal penalty killing was a very effective part of their game in the first period. Gainey, of course, a big man killing penalties for Montreal. Now he is in the box.
Here are the Rangers from the face-off. Murdoch dropping it back to Badney. Over on left wing for Mike McEwen. McEwen feeds it into the center ice area. Don Maloney slides it into the corner. But Robinson is back. That's McEwen on top of Robinson trying to knock it loose. Savard is there to help out. And Serge Savard comes up with the puck and calmly clears it over onto the other wing, but the Canadiens can't get it up. Here's McEwen into the corner with Savard. Now Don Maloney bumped by Robinson. He cleared for Lemaire. Lemaire firing it back behind the net. It took a crazy bounce off the boards. Savard was there, however, and clears it away from Montreal. And Esposito is back. Esposito being forechecked by Tremblay. Now Maloney. Canadiens again doing some close-in forechecking when they're shorthanded as Tremblay digs in after Don Maloney. Now it is Badney trying to move it out of there. On right wing for Murdoch. Murdoch with a long shot. That's wide of the net. Esposito digs in behind the goal to Maloney. Centered wide. There's Murdoch trying to work it in front. Back behind the goal to Don Maloney. He is being tied up by Robinson. Cleared it on the boards, and Mario Tremblay shoots it away. 40 seconds left in the Canadiens' penalty to Gainey. Rangers Badney. Lead pass for Murdoch was a well off the mark, and now Dryden out of the net, and Hickey runs into him. And Dryden is furious as Hickey came charging in. Dryden was out of the net, and Hickey took a run at him.
Dryden had not touched, I don't believe he had touched the puck. And he, of course, figures that that's interference.
Anytime you're out of the net, though, Dick, your free game, I don't know if that check was necessary or not. But
Look at Scotty. This is... Now the puck comes in.
See, oh, no, Kenny's trying to block him, so, Hickey just gave him a little shot. But if a goaltender tries to block you like that, most guys will give you a little hit. I don't think it hurt him too much.
They called the Rangers on, was it icing or an offside, one or the other?
That was an icing.
So Dryden gets roughed up a bit. And so far, anyway, the Canadiens done a good job killing the penalty to Bob Gainey. Montreal tonight again without Guy Lapointe, but the word is he should be able to play for them in Game 5 back in Montreal next Monday. That's a Monday game, Game 5.
I found that kind of exciting. You don't often see Kenny Dryden get excited. He was very excited there.
28 seconds left in the penalty to Gainey. Face-off coming all the way down into the Ranger zone. Jarvis will face off against Ron Duguay. Canadiens leading it 2-0 from the face-off. They drop it back to Savard. Here's Savard being checked by Hickey. Hickey cleared it in, but Robinson is there. And Robinson fires it down the ice. Rangers go back. Duguay on right wing, number 10, circling back. Here's Duguay. Passing it in on left wing for Greshner. Greshner in front, pass more or less, but Dryden cleared it away. Now Greshner at the point, shoots, and that deflects wide. Gainey is back on, and the Canadiens clear it to Gainey. In with Mondeau on a 2-on-1 break. Mondeau shoots, and he fired it high off the glass. Canadiens try and center and hit the side of the net with it. Now the Rangers come to center. Here's Duguay speeding in. Centered one, Savard is there. And Savard seems to be everywhere inside that Montreal blue line. Here's Marois. Lead pass for Sheehan. Broken up at center ice by Rod Langway, who dumps it right back in. Davidson cleared it, and Greshner takes over. Greshner, lead pass to center. Langway knocked it down, and the puck flips up over the boards into the penalty timekeeper's bench.
Ron Greshner heading to the range. He had the only shot the Rangers managed during the time that Bob Gainey was in the penalty box. And Bobby, you have to figure they've got to get their power play act together here tonight. They've had the chances, and the Canadiens have really shut them down.
The Rangers have one of the top power plays in the league, Dick, and they've only had 5 shots through 25 minutes of play. And like you say, they had 1 shot on that power play, and you just got to get those shots on the power play.
The work of Robinson and Savard coming to the fore, particularly on that last shorthanded situation for Montreal. Shot into the Ranger zone. Maloney back to get it. Works it to Vickers. Back of the net to Dave Maloney. Now to Vadnais. He headmans it for Kachuk. It goes all the way down the ice. And as Engblom chases back after it, icing is called against the Rangers.
You're right about Robinson and Savard, Dan. They control the boards in their own zone throughout that power play. That was a big factor in Montreal's killing it. That's Scotty's playoff record against the Rangers. The last 2 times these clubs met, 72 and 74, the Rangers won both. Both were quarterfinal rounds.
Jarvis comes out for Montreal to center Ray Jean-Houl and Bob Gainey. Face-off will be to the right of the New York goal. All the scoring in the first period. Shot on a power play and Risebrow for Montreal as we look at the Canadiens face-off specialist, center iceman Doug Jarvis, now on the draw against Kachuk. Puck is dropped, and Jarvis wins the draw to Langway. At the point, gets it to Jarvis, a quick shot, stick save by Davidson. Vickers trying to feed it out. Dave Maloney circles back to help out. In there, forechecking the Canadiens pool, but the Rangers work it to Vickers. Steve Vickers knocked it to center. Now Gainey takes the pass as it was knocked ahead with a glove from one Montreal player to another.
Well, Bob Gainey, of course, a big man in any close checking type hockey game, and that means playoff time, Bobby.
Well, Bob, he hits everybody he can hit. He doesn't go out of his way to hit them. He's up and down his wing. Great penalty killer. A fine hockey player and a great asset to the Montreal Canadiens.
Esposito now out there for the Rangers with Maloney and Murdoch. Canadiens from the face-off cleared it to the Ranger line. Now Robinson in the center ice area battling Murdoch. Robinson cleared it to center. They shoot it back in. Dryden had trouble with the long shot. Robinson couldn't clear it. Now gets it near the line. Marois holding it in. Here's Lafleur ahead to Lemaire. Lemaire back to Lafleur. Lafleur shoots one, and Davidson gets a stick on it as he went to his knees. At center ice, Robinson over to Chartrand, who dumped it back in after colliding with Don Maloney. Rangers work it out. Mario Marois, lead pass to Don Maloney, trying to work around Chartrand. Chartrand takes him out of the play with a heavy check. Now Chartrand fired it around in the boards. Murdoch for the Rangers is there. Can't center, and here's Shutt trying to set up Lafleur, and Marois is there to intercept and clear it down the ice. And as Chartrand goes back, icing is called against the Rangers.
This is Stanley Cup 79 from Madison Square Garden in New York. Well, we had a bit of a delay right here as the linesman had to do some house cleaning. Debris thrown onto the ice from the folks seated to our left down in behind John Davidson.
We're approaching. Go ahead, Bobby.
The Rangers started the first 4 minutes of the second period. They came out and they were very, very aggressive. In the last 4 minutes, they just stopped being aggressive and they're not effective at all.
I can't believe that we're approaching the midway point in this game and that the Canadiens have had only 9 shots on goal and the Rangers 6. But that's what it is.
It's goaltender's dream.
Loose puck in the Ranger zone. The Canadiens steal it out in front. Risebrow and Davidson a save. Rebound to Lambert, and it slides through, and Davidson grabs it.
Bobby, might be the lift the Rangers have been looking for.
This could lift him. Davidson made a great save, and I heard before the game that it was hurting a little bit, and he's getting up a little slow here.
Great chance for Doug Risebrough.
Makes
The
it good.
Canadiens outmuscle the Rangers in the corner. And there's the stop by Davidson. And the other one just trickles through on the rebound, and he covers up.
Risebrough on the face-off, got it near the Ranger goal, but Greshner starts out for New York. Being bothered by Mario Tremblay, cleared it to center for Johnstone. Lambert checked him, and Risebrough fires one in behind the New York goal. Parrish is there on the right wing side for Johnstone. Johnstone feeds to Duguay. Duguay cleared it to center. Now it's Risebrough racing in after it. Risebrough dropping it back for Big Lupia at the point. His shot nowhere near the net, and Greshner comes up with it for New York. Trying to clear it, Risebrough intercepts to Lambert in front, and Greshner intercepts the pass, then lost it to Tremblay as he cleared it right onto Tremblay's stick. Tremblay behind the net for Lambert, centered. There's Tremblay backhander, Risebrough a shot. Davidson down on the ice to make the two saves and hold on to it.
Boy, great pressure by a line from Montreal, not noted for its big offensive ability, but they were outplaying the New Yorkers there as we get a bit of a hassle as the whistle goes.
Dick, there's something you don't want to do with the Canadiens. When they have control of that puck in your end, you don't want to let them stand there and not go and check them. And I think it was Tremblay that had the puck in the corner, and that's where all the trouble started. They let him stand in there, and no one went to him. And with the Canadiens, they'll kill you because someone's going to move around and get in the open, and the guy with the puck is going to find them.
They had 3 shots in that particular sequence against Davidson. The Canadiens now with 12 and the Rangers with 6. In this period, 5-2 Montreal in the shots on goal.
Look at Big Lupia in that skirmish off to the side of the net. He moves in, and he's 6'6", and quite an imposing figure when things get rather rough down there. From the face-off, it comes to center ice. Langway going back after it. For Montreal, fires one and fired it up over the boards. And so the face-off is going to be inside the Montreal blue line.
Scotty Bowman going tonight with 6 defensemen. He did that in the second game. Of course, that's prompted in part by the injury to LaPointe.
And I know talking to Scotty Bowman after that game, he felt that the 6th defenseman was one of the big differences in the club. That particular night, didn't have to use Robinson and Savard as much. And when they were playing, particularly with Savard being sick, here's Vadnais, shoots one, and he just missed. Now into the corner of the Rangers center, cleared away and cleared up over the boards by Gaining after a close call.
Talk about using the 6th defenseman. I would guess late in the third period, you'll see a lot of Savard and Robinson, and he will not be going with the 6.
Well, there's Serge on the bench right now. He has had a fine series. He's the Canadiens' nominee for the Masterton Trophy. The winner will be announced tomorrow at the annual Stanley Cup luncheon, as will the name of the Coach of the Year. Masterton voted on by the writers, Coach of the Year by the NHL Broadcasters Association. Those announcements will be made at noontime tomorrow here in New York.
And Mr. Urban is going to make the presentation.
I think I'm going to ask you to help.
That's the Jack Adams Memorial Trophy for the Coach of the Year. Here from the face-off. Canadiens try and clear it. Gainey flips it into the center ice area. And over to pick it up for New York is Dave Maloney firing it in. Right in back of the net. Clears it around in the boards. Rangers in to try and do some forechecking. Get it to Vadnais at the point. Broken up, and Gainey clears to center ice. Now broken up by Vadnais. Kachuk bounces one in off of the linesman Matt Pavlich, and it goes over the boards right at the Montreal blue line.
With the score, the Canadiens 2, the Rangers nothing. This is Stanley Cup 79.
In the person of Bobby Orr, here is one in the hockey broadcast business. A great pleasure for me to turn over the play-by-play for the rest of this game to Hockey Night in Canada's Danny Gallivan.
Thank you, Dan Kelly. You're a very kind Irishman, but after all, is there any other kind? My prejudice is showing. 2-0. And the puck is back in the New York zone. And the Canadiens so far in this game, I wasn't near the broadcast booth. Here they come again. There's a shot by Tremblay, knocked down right in front. And Risebrough, he rolled it wide. I was going to say the Canadiens have given a masterful demonstration of checking in this game so far. Now it's Marois coming out. In over the line on the right side, Duguay. He cleared it behind the net. It goes to the other side to Hickey. Now Chartres. Laying it up on the boards. Duguay trying to get possession along with Marois. They jam in there. Sheehan in behind the net against Robinson. Here's Risebrough. Now Dryden clears it on the left side for Lambert. Lambert can't get out. Duguay feeds it back in there, and the Canadiens clear it on the left side. However, they're having difficulty getting the puck out. Some pressure here by the New York Rangers, and it's Dryden knocking it to the side. There's Marois with his shot right on. The rebound, and Dryden pulls out a spectacular play.
Well, the Rangers finally started to do what Bobby said they had to do, put the pressure on the Canadiens inside their line as Chartrand is involved in a bit of a hassle right here. There was some very poor clearing on the part of Montreal there, Bobby.
I counted 3 times that they were trying to clear the puck, and they cleared it right back to the point to the New York defenseman. And in game 1 and a little bit in game 2, they were doing that, and it really hurt them. And right here, like that was Esposito. If he could have got it up a little higher, it was in the net.
Top of the net was open. Dryden sitting down.
Kenny makes a good save here. The rebound comes right back. There's Hickey right on Dryden's doorstep, and Esposito couldn't get the puck up high enough.
Well, the fans are stirred up after all that.
So the play is on again. Rangers right in front of the net again. And it's cleared back. Here's Farry shooting it. And he wrapped it off Lafleur. Savard clearing it out on the right side to center Lafleur. He has shot with him over the shot. Intercepted by Esposito. Rangers get it out over the line, and it's brought back in on the offside. And the Rangers beginning to show some offense. They are behind by a score of 2-0.
There was a 2-on-1 break. Lafleur, the puck carrier on the right side. It's easy up here, as we've said before, Bobby. I thought that time he could have shot the puck.
Well, he was on a good angle, and I'm not sure which defenseman was back, but he had the other guy covered. He played the 2-on-1 perfectly, and Davidson had to play the puck shooter, who was Lafleur. Lafleur tried to make the pass, and it was intercepted.
So they line up for the face-off outside the New York line. We have Plandon with Duguay and Johnstone. Now the Rangers in their own zone having difficulty again. Shot back to Lupien. There's the shot, and it goes high in among the spectators behind Davidson.
That's a great sign down there. 39 years is long enough. The Stanley Cup, there it is.
Ronnie, I'm sorry, Danny. Go ahead.
Bobby.
I'll get it later.
Now it's Lupien clearing it over to Savard. Lupien again. Lafleur is at the line. He's spun around by Farish. And Greshler is in there hounding him as Lemaire comes to the far side. Savard keeps it in. Now the Rangers finally get possession out over the line. Farish headmanning that puck, and Plant can't get it. Off the glass it goes. Duguay is trying to come up with it. He's on the boards, clears it. There's a shot right on. And Johnstone came up with a great scoring opportunity for New York. Johnstone is back there to get it. Now over on the far side, Farish clears it to the line, not out. Savard has it at the line. Up it goes, knocked down in the center ice area. And the Canadiens, with Savard knocking ahead, was over the boards.
.8:57 left in the second period here in Game 3. Game 4 will be played at Madison Square Garden Saturday night, and we'll be on the air at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. A later than usual start, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Game 4, Game 5 in Montreal next Monday. Well, there's Kenny Dryden in back of the net as the Rangers had another chance right here, and he's had to be very sharp. There it is right there, close range. Johnson from the right side.
Now the Canadiens rolling it into the center ice area. Dave Maloney pumping it back in for New York. In behind the net is Langway, and Dryden cleared it to the corner. Esposito gets it to the other side. Gainey on the left wing to the line, and it's down into New York territory. Maloney feeding it to the far side. Here is Jarvis fighting with Esposito. They jam in on the boards. Let's see, they're going to get a whistle. Yes, they do.
The only statistical note here in the second period, Bob Gainey, a penalty for slashing at 2:08. If you've just joined us, the 2 Montreal goals came in the first period. Steve Shutt on a power play from Lemaire and Robinson at 7:27, then Doug Risebrough from Lambert and Savard at 15:44.
The New York fans are in a frenzied frame of mind, contemplating as they are the possibility of a Stanley Cup for their beloved Rangers. It would be the first one, of course, as has been mentioned several times, in 40 years. And here in the third game, with the series tied a goal, rather a game apiece, it's 2-0 in goals, so the Canadiens leading. That long shot went over the corner glass.
Nobody in uniform in this series was born when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup last. In fact, the PA man now gets some disco music going. There's Nick Fodio, quick shot of him, the only native-born New Yorker to make the Rangers, but he has not been used in this series.
Murdoch shot it to the line, now gaining up on the left side, over the line with Jarvis. Here's Jarvis, got it right in front of Ray Jan Uhl. Uhl to Jarvis, out to Gainey. Gainey trying to get it into the corner. Don Maloney has it for New York. Puck is down the ice into Canadiens territory. Back after it goes Langway. Into the crease, it comes into Dryden. And Dryden has to hold on. Esposito and Langway mixing it up in front of Dryden.
Well, the worst part of something like this that's happening in the goal crease is always the goaltender. You can't even see Dryden. From where we are, I see him now. He's down at all fours in back of the red line, off the post. Somebody leaning up against him. Langway and Esposito went after one another, Bobby, early in Game 1 in Montreal. Had a little thing going that day. Drew a couple of coincidental penalties.
Phil's a little frustrated. Langway lost the puck, and Phil almost put it in, and he loses it right here.
Oh, no, it was Murdoch knocked it away from Engblom. And we have penalties called on the play. This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York. Here's Phil Esposito in the penalty box. He's off with Rod Langway. They have received roughing penalties at 12:19 here in this second period.
Face-off will be to the right of Dryden. Kachuk has been an outstanding figure in the entire playoff picture for New York. He's at center. Edberg is a forward. We have Marwa playing up. Napier and Lemaire for the Canadiens. They fight for possession in Montreal territory. Canadiens coming out. Napier into the center ice area over the line, and he backtracks. Now he flicked it into the corner, going in after it against Marwa. We have exactly 7 minutes and 22 seconds left in this, the second period, 2-0 for the Montreal Canadiens. Now Marwa being chased by Lemaire. Marwa goes to the far side, and Lemaire cleared it ahead. Hedberg up on the left side, coming in over the wing. Robinson knocks it away from Kachuk. They're into the corner fighting for possession. Hedberg getting it back to Marwa. Over on the other side, there's McEwen. McEwen is getting set, fakes the shot. Hedberg flipped it, and it goes into the corner. They fight for it on the boards to the other side. Hedberg getting it back to McEwen. Some pressure here on New York. Marwa shoots it, and Dryden comes up with a big save. Going to be a penalty here, I think, for grabbing the puck.
On Chartrand.
No doubt about that one. The puck bounced up, and the Canadiens' number 27, Rick Chartrand, put the grab on it, and so Montreal will play a man short, 5 against 4, live from Madison Square Garden in New York, the Stanley Cup playoff. Well, there's Rick Chartrand closing his hand on the puck, the call, and at 13:28, the Canadiens are short one, and the Rangers get another power play chance as we look again at some of the trapeze apparatus. Or is it apparati? I'll leave that to you, Danny, the plural. The circus will be back here tomorrow. You think the animals are bothered by all this noise, Bobby? I understand you had a very nice visit with some of them down there before the game.
I think they're all right back there.
So a big opportunity for the New York Rangers. Face off in deep Canadian territory. Greshner trying to clear it. Here's Greshner again getting it back. It's flipped right in front of backhand shot. And Dryden comes up with that save on Hedberg from close in.
Well, we're starting to see Rangers scoring opportunities, Bobby. We mentioned how in the first period they had only 2 good ones, but they've had more than 2 in this second period.
Kenny has come up big in this period. McEwen makes a great play to Hedberg here. And again, Kenny goes down. Hedberg couldn't get it up high enough.
Canadiens had started that sequence with 2 forwards, Jarvis and Gainey, along with Savard. Now Robinson comes back on, and he's out there with Savard, and Lemaire takes over up front.
I said earlier that the 4-on-3, to me, is the toughest play in hockey, and I don't know how many 4-on-3s you can kill off.
Montreal 2, New York no score. Rangers on the power play along the boards. Hedberg in behind the net to Kachuk. He's tied up by Lemaire. Robinson plays it up on the left wing. It's at center, and it's propelled down the ice by Savard. That is McEwen turning for the New York Rangers, leading a 4-man attack into the center ice area. They're at the line. Robinson trying to clear it out, and the whistle goes, stopping the play.
Ron Greshner was chosen for Team Canada for the Challenge Cup here in New York. He had gone home to Alberta, I believe, for the break, came down, did not suit up during the series. A bit frustrating for him, obviously. And then right after that, suffered a shoulder separation that kept him out for the next several weeks.
Five minutes and 58 seconds left in the hockey game. It's cleared in by McEwen, that is in the second period. Hedberg to McEwen. It's blocked by Savard. He cleared it back down the ice into New York territory. And the Rangers have to go back, and there's Langway coming back on the ice, along with the Ranger player. Now it's Gainey trying to get a break in on the right side. He goes to the corner. Along the boards, Greshner takes over and starts away for New York. Duguay over on the other side. Hedberg is taken out of the play. Puck is knocked down the ice to the New York line. Now Esposito ahead to Greshner over the line to Duguay. Duguay playing it into the corner. It's centered. Played up on the left side and knocked down the ice by Gainey. 5 minutes exactly left in the second period. Now Duguay failed to get the puck. It's down the ice in behind the net. They fight for it. Savard coming up with it. He gives it to Gainey. And Gainey cruises into the center ice area. Back it goes into New York territory. Back there goes Vadnais. Vadnais out over the line on the right side of Marois. He shoots it in, and now Chartrand is back on. Puck is cleared up on the wing. Canadians get it out to the line. Chartrand back into the center ice area to Lemaire. He dropped it back to Ray-Jean to Lemaire. Sharp angle shot, and Vadnais in behind the net for New York. 2-0 Montreal leading New York. 4 minutes and 6 seconds left in the second period. Engblom over to Uhl. Vadnais knocked it back to center. Lemaire giving it to Langway. He feeds it to center. Cleared in on the right wing by Marois. And in there goes Engblom. Engblom ahead on the left side to Langway at center with Ray-Jean, Uhl, and Lafleur over the line. Here's Langway centering it right in front, and the Rangers clear it down the ice. 3 minutes and 32 seconds left. Engblom fired it, and it went over the glass.
Brian Engblom didn't practice yesterday with the Canadiens. As you see the shots on goal, very low totals. Engblom suffered a leg injury in Game 2 on Tuesday night, but I noticed, Bobby, that at playoff time, recuperative powers are very strong. Your old buddy Wayne Cashman did a super job in the semifinals. He had a back injury. He was in the hospital. Nobody thought he'd play. Showed up in the dressing room before the game, said, I think I'll try it. Played a super game.
A lot of players that don't get to the Stanley Cup final, so when you get that chance, you've certainly got to take advantage of it.
Now at the line, Engblom clearing it in. Called on the offside. Dan Kelly, where are you? I still have the cold and the sniffles, and with the sniffles, this is a series not to be sneezed at, so you better take over.
Unexpected as this is, I'll move in. And, thank you again, Danny. We're down to 3:24 left in the period. So Danny Gallivan, who missed game 1 in this series with fever and a cold. And we jump back in here and take over as the Canadiens still have that 2-0 lead as we get a close-up penetrating look at the coach of the Canadiens, Scotty Bowman. On the face-off, it comes to the Canadian player Chartrand trying to clear it. Now knocked down, stolen by Sheehan. Sheehan shoots one, and Dryden makes the save. Big pile-up at the side of the net, and they hold on to it. The Canadian goaltender, and the face-off will be to the right of the Montreal goal.
And now let's check in with Dave Hodge, the second intermission.
We'll be looking at a film profile of the Rangers captain, 22-year-old Dave Maloney. I'll be talking with one of the all-time great goaltenders in NHL history, Jacques Plante. Dick Irvin and Bobby Orr will discuss the second period.
And in the second period, 3 minutes and 7 seconds remain. Face-off in the Canadian zone.
Already on a face-off. Puck comes in front of the Canadiens' goal. Now back of the net, the Canadiens try and clear it. Loose behind the net again. Vickers digging in after it. He's knocked down, and Savard, as he seemingly has all night, comes up with the puck and feeds to Lemaire. Here's Jacques Lemaire trying to move in. Lemaire flipped it in front for Lafleur, broken up, and back comes Hickey. Hickey being checked by Lafleur to Lemaire, trying to step around Farish. Lemaire moving in, shot up, whack at it, but Davidson slid out and cleared it away. Hickey for the Rangers, number 16, to Greshner. Lead pass over on left wing, and here's Vickers. Trying to work around Savard, dropping it back. They work it into the corner. Vickers is there to Hickey. He fanned on it at the edge of the crease. And Savard for Montreal flips it out and flipped it up over the boards. And the face-off will be in the Montreal zone.
And when Farish hauled down the Canadian player in front of the New York net, Scotty Bowman did an imitation of Don Cherry that time and jumped up on the bench to protest in the direction of referee Myers. 2:17 left as we look at a veteran with great powers of staying powers, Serge Savard. Danny Gallivan, of course, has a great record. He has missed very few broadcasts, Dan Kelly, as you know, in his 25, 26 years.
You know, I was thinking, Dick, I couldn't speak for 4 days a couple of weeks ago. Danny's had it. On Sunday, you weren't feeling that well. I thought Gary Dornhofer might wind up doing the play-by-play, the color and the interview.
You ready, Bobby?
There's the Ranger captain, Maloney. Here is Langway for Montreal, trying to clear it out, gets it into the center ice area. Now Gainey digging in after it for Montreal. Takes a hit from Maloney, and Vadnais cleared it over onto the other wing. In moves Englo. Now Dave Maloney trying to work it out as the Rangers, with less than 2 minutes to play in the second period, still trail 2-0. Vadnais trying to work in, trying to get away from Langway. Vadnais centered, but Gainey is there for Montreal. Gainey got it to the line, held in by Hedberg. To Johnstone, dropping it back and unable to hold it in at the point was Dave Maloney. He has to hustle back to beat Gainey to the puck, and Gainey, doing some tough forechecking, now gets it to Jarvis behind the net. He lost it, and Walter Tkachuk tries to clear it. Rangers Vadnais flipping it up for Johnstone. Now to Tkachuk, to Hedberg. He fired it around on the boards. Digging in is Johnstone. Now it is Lambert trying to clear it. He does. Risebrough races after it, looking for some help. Flips it in front, and a backhander wide of the net as McEwen got back to make a check on Tremblay. Lambert trying to clear it around. A minute left in the period. Here's Risebrough flipping it in front, off of Lambert. Canadians still hold it in. Here's McEwen. Tied up on the play. Now it's centered, Risebrough in front, and it's poked wide by Lambert. Marois for the Rangers. Cleared it over to Johnstone. Risebrough in checking on him. Here's Tremblay as this line does some great forechecking for Montreal, and the Rangers clear it and clear it up over the boards.
A very effective threesome for the Canadians in this second period. Risebrough, Lambert, and Mario Tremblay. And now they leave the ice with 34 seconds left here in the second period.
does it appear to you that the Rangers look a little tired? Their defense, Gressner, I didn't think Gressner was carrying the puck that well.
About around the 10-minute mark, they were coming on with their best hockey of the game thus far, but here in the last few minutes, that Canadian checking seemed to turn the game around. Here's Robinson feeding it to the Ranger line. Marois to Esposito. He dumps it in. Savard, number 18, back to pick it up. Cleared it for Lafleur. He was unable to clear the zone, and Robinson tries. Feeds it out to Schutt. Pass was behind Lemaire, intercepted by McEwen. Fires it all the way down the ice. Just a couple of seconds left, and Robinson back to touch it as the buzzer goes to end the second period, and still the two first period goals by Montreal holding up in the hockey game. The power play goal by Schutt and the other by Doug Risebrough.
In that second period, the Rangers outshot the Canadiens 8-6 overall. Montreal has the edge 13-12. And so the score at the end of the second period, Montreal 2, New York.
The New York Rangers making their appearance on the ice. They have not scored a goal now in 98 minutes and 39 seconds after scoring 2 goals in the first 6 minutes or so of Game 2. The scoring in the game, Steve Schutt, his 4th goal of the playoffs, a power play goal at 7:27 of the first period. And then Doug Risebrough, his first of the playoffs, at 15:44 of the opening period. No scoring in the second period on the game. The Canadiens to this point outshooting the Rangers 13-12. And as we mentioned, the Rangers scored the first 2 goals in the first 6 minutes and 21 seconds of Game 2, were shut out the rest of the way, and have been shut out by Mr. Dryden and the Canadiens so far tonight.
And as you saw, Game 4, a 9 o'clock start for our telecast on Saturday night. And there is Ken Dryden, with whom Jacques Plante talked at length in the second intermission. Stories persist that Dryden may be pursuing his goaltending and other careers elsewhere, but of course those kind of stories gather around hockey players and coaches at playoff time more than any other time. John Davidson, beaten twice fairly early in this game, but so far from then on has blanked Montreal as he gets set for this third period, and that's what's at stake. The Stanley Cup, as we look at the topmost regions of this beautiful building, Madison Square Garden here in New York.
Referee Bob Myers ready to drop the puck. Montreal 2, the New York Rangers nothing as we move into the third period here at Madison Square Garden. And here we go with period 3. It's immediately taken by the Canadiens. Savard to Robinson. Robinson has to backtrack a little, but has control of the puck as he's watched by Duguay, number 10, in front of the net. Robinson firing it out. Vadnais held it in, shoots one, and that deflected just wide off Johnstone. Robinson to Savard. Over on left wing to Gagné. Now feeding it into the center ice area to Régin Houle, who cleared it into the New York zone, and as Maloney goes back and touches it, icing called against Montreal.
And Houle could have taken a couple of more strides and crossed the red line. Well, the man with the big cigar is Mike Nicolak, who came here to the Rangers from Philadelphia with Fred Shiro, and a man who has drawn a lion's share of the credit for the improved play of this New York team this year. I believe he runs almost all of the practices, Bobby.
If you want to know anything about the Rangers, the best guy to go to is Danny Nicolak.
Gary Dornhofer, after the first game, prior to the first game rather, he spoke with Fred Shiro, his old coach. He came back into the room in Montreal at the Forum. He said, I talked with Fred for 10 minutes, didn't learn a thing.
Well, Freddie believes in designating authority, and he's designated a lot of authority to Mike Nicolak.
He doesn't even call him an assistant. He calls him a co-coach. Here are the Rangers having to retreat into their own zone. Gressner is there, feeding it to Vickers. Vickers, number 8, to Kachuk. Kachuk fires it ahead for Hedberg. Langway and Hedberg go to the corner. They jam up and hold it along the boards, and the faceoff will be to the left of the Canadiens' goal.
Here's Steve Vickers, number 8 for the Rangers. It was mentioned earlier, he is the only man, he joined the team the next year, while Kachuk is the only man left from that series. Vickers, a Rookie Award winner, and he succeeded Ken Dryden as the rookie winner when he joined New York. Opened the scoring in this series in Game 1.
All ready for a face-off. Kachuk against Jarvis. Jarvis wins the draw for Robinson, firing it around in the boards. Canadiens can't get it out. Vickers trying to hold it in, and Farish is there, pinning the Montreal player Houle against the boards. And we'll have another face-off in the Montreal zone. The man we were talking about, and a rather mysterious man, Fred Shiro, the general manager and coach of the Rangers. I think he's really as calm as he always appears.
Coaches never are as calm as they appear.
And of course, Dick Urban would know that very well. He lived with the coach for many years. His dad, a former National Hockey League coach. The puck cleared in by Farish behind the net. Dryden trying to clear it out. It's held in by Kachuk. Farish now backhanding one in, and it's called an offside at the Montreal blue line, and an intentional offside. And the faceoff goes all the way into the New York zone.
Well, there's a camera shot of some people almost at the roof in Madison Square Garden. In Boston, you're close enough to the ice to catch the puck. It could bounce up. And here, you're close enough to catch a UFO, I think, if it flew by.
Duguay ready for a face-off against Jarvis to the right of the Ranger goal, and here's Sheehan. Works it into the center ice area to Hickey. Long backhander. Dryden sets it up at the side of the goal. Canadiens trying to clear it. Poole drops it back into the corner. Now McEwen at the point behind the net to Hickey. Hickey squeezed out of the play by Robinson, and Gainey passes to center. Poole flips the long one in. Davidson handling it easily, and Mike McEwen tries to get something going for the Rangers. To Hickey. He's bumped off the puck on a solid check by Tremblay. Sheehan to McEwen. Moving in. Murdoch high off the glass. Here's Hickey, shoots one, and that's just wide by a couple of feet. Into the corner for Duguay. He missed it. Dryden out of the net to clear it away to Lambert. And Lambert leads a 3-on-2 Montreal break. Lambert dropping it back. Risebrough shoots one, and Davidson makes a body save. And the Rangers come back. Murdoch flips one in. Dryden cleared it over onto the boards. Tremblay missed it. Here's Murdoch, shoots one, and it's off a skate and then cleared away by Lupia. Savard trying to feed it out. In behind the net, Lupia trying to force it out. Esposito knocked it down. Over into the other wing now, and Tremblay shoots it into the center ice area. Here is Lambert picking it up, in with Tremblay to Tremblay, who was closely checked by McEwen in front of the net. Now Don Maloney, Joe Esposito, and Savard breaks it up. Don Maloney gets it again. Shoots it in behind the Montreal goal. Lupia is there for Schutt. He got it to center ice. Maloney knocked it down. Now Vadnais chased into his own zone by Lemaire. Vadnais being checked in the play. Falls, couldn't cover up on the puck. The Canadian Schutt trying to center, and Dave Maloney takes over. Over on the other wing for his younger brother, Don. He's checked. Now Dave Maloney again. Rink wide to Vadnais. Flips it ahead to Esposito, but Lemaire is there to take over for Montreal. Lemaire's long shot. Davidson out of the net to clear it away. Don Maloney on left wing. Flips it to center. Broken up, and Langway feeds to Lafleur. Cleared away by Dave Maloney. Now Esposito along the boards. Being checked, and they hold it for a faceoff.
From Madison Square Garden in New York, this is Stanley Cup 79.
In the late 1950s, banks weren't in the business of promoting small personal loans. Then one bank made it their business. The bank was Scotiabank, and they're still giving credit where credit is due. If you could use a little help with your dream, whatever your dream, see Scotiabank. They've got everything you need.
Scotiabank, just around the corner, right around the world. Scotiabank.
The crowd starting to pick up the chant, "Let's go Rangers," as Anders Hedberg and teammates get set.
From the face-off, the Canadiens dump it into the center ice area. Mondeau fires one into the Rangers zone. Greshner back to pick it up. Over onto the left wing side, Vickers is checked. Here's Farish trying to clear it. Vickers comes out of his own zone, headmanning it to Hedberg. He moves in, shoots, and Dryden, an arm save on the short side. Good try by Hedberg. Puck comes to center. Farish for New York. For Kachuk, intercepted by Napier. And now Chartrand dumps it down into the Ranger zone. Farish is there. Tips it aside for Greshner. Greshner out on left wing to Vickers, held in by Chartrand as he stood up at the blue line and moved in to hold it in the Ranger zone. Rangers again try and work it out. Napier this time holding it in. And the Canadiens' checking is continuing to be very impressive here. Lambert fires it in, and here's a great line in that department now. Risebrow with Lambert and Tremblay. Rangers to Esposito, and it's intercepted by Tremblay. To Engblom. Brian Engblom dumps it in. Here's Lambert digging in after it. Centers one, Tremblay, too closely checked by Farish. And Plant for New York to Esposito. Risebrow and Langway take him out of the play, and Dryden plays the puck to Lambert. To Risebrow, to Tremblay. Back to Risebrow to Lambert. Shoots, and he fired wide. Again, Lambert from a sharp angle. Shot well wide of the net, comes out to center ice. Langway has it. Cleared it away, and Marois fires one in for New York. Dryden. Got it over onto the wing. The Canadiens' Engblom couldn't get it out. But now Régin Houle does to Lambert for Lafleur. Pass was behind him, and McEwen takes over. Mike McEwen, number 27. To Marois. At center to Plant. Feeds it in on right wing to Johnstone, and Langway, number 17, skates him off. Here's Lafleur trying to dance by Marois, but Marois intercepts and fires it back into the Canadian zone. Lafleur, check, puck in front of the net, cleared away by Langway, and now Lafleur over on the other wing dumps it into the center ice area. And as Marois goes back and touches it, icing against Montreal.
Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York.
Compare the all-new trim-size Ford LTD to this year's Chev Impala. You'll find Ford LTD has 6 inches more front seat hip room than Chev, more shoulder room too. Compare LTD's comfort with more back seat room for legs, knees, shoulders, and hips. Compare LTD's trunk. It's 3 cubic feet bigger. Yet outside, Ford and Chev are virtually the same size. Trim size outside, full size inside. Test drive the '79 Ford LTD.
13 minutes, 55 seconds left in the third period. Canadiens leading 2-0. Still the first period goals by Steve Shutt and Doug Risebrough. The only goals of the game as we look again at Ulf Nielsen, the injured Ranger. Here's Duguay, a quick shot, he scores! Duguay from the faceoff.
Boy, doesn't that remind you of a goal in the Challenge Cup that the Soviets scored at that same end on that same goaltender, Ken Dryden? And we might have a brand new hockey game here, Bobby Orr.
I think we're going to see a lot of action now, Dick, and I don't think Kenny Dryden was ready for the shot. He was caught flat-footed.
Well, here it comes. How does it get in the net? Goes through off Savard's skate. Isn't that something? Off Savard's skate, as clean as a whistle. The Rangers center man, Duguay, tried to get a shot away on the play, actually, but didn't flick to the net. But the puck went off Savard, and there you see the faces of the Ranger fans who, for the first time tonight, have something to cheer about.
And they end that long scoring slump they've been in. Duguay getting the goal right from the faceoff. Here's Jarvis for Montreal, trying to work it out of there. Canadiens' lead has been cut to 2-1 as Jarvis dumps it into the Ranger zone. Maloney digging back, trying to clear it. Savard holding it in to Houle. Houle to Gainey. Gainey fanned on a shot, and here's Pat Hickey on right wing to Duguay. Duguay looks for Sheehan. Sheehan into the corner for Duguay. Lupia had him tied up, and here's Gainey. Number 23, Bob Gainey. Long shot steered aside by Davidson, and the Rangers start out of their own zone. Maloney on left wing to Hickey. Head manning to Esposito. Dumps it in, but Robinson breaks it up to Lambert. And he cleared it to the Ranger line. Don Maloney to Dave Maloney. Knocked down by the Canadiens. Here's Mondeau trying to work in. Centered one, and Lambert couldn't get it. And the Rangers start back. Murdoch to Esposito. Into Don Maloney. And the play is offside at the Canadiens' blue line.
This is Stanley Cup 79 from Madison Square Garden in New York.
One of the places where we can start to create jobs right now in Canada is in the housing industry. because construction was a field where last year unemployment was as high as 20%. Our mortgage deductibility proposal will help an awful lot of Canadians buy new homes. That means new jobs in the housing industry, in the furniture industry, in the construction materials industry. It's a practical way to get the economy growing and to put people to work.
On May 22nd, vote Progressive Conservative. Give the future a chance.
Fans have come alive here at Madison Square Garden because Ron Duguay's unassisted goal at 6:06, there it is, has made this a 2-1 hockey game, and this is the start of the game all over again. They're starting to stand and give the Rangers a standing ovation right here.
Rangers had gone 104 minutes and 46 seconds without scoring on Dryden or on Larocque for the time he was in the series. Here's Plante on the boards. Farish gets the puck to the Canadiens line. Larry Robinson for Lafleur. Greshner breaking it up. Now Greshner to Plante. Back to Greshner. And Lafleur intercepts and dumps one into the New York zone. But Greshner has it again. Got to center. Checked by Lemaire. Flipped it to the Ranger line. Farish quickly to Johnstone to Esposito. Moving in. Tied up by Robinson. Canadians clear it outside the line. Greshner has it there. Greshner waits for his team to get onside, fired it back in, but right onto Chartrand's stick. He got it to center. Here come the Rangers again. Esposito flips one in. Now Chartrand for Lafleur. It comes to center ice, and Johnstone drops it back to his own line. Marois tried to clear it in. Knocked down, cleared back out. Marois fired it in again and blasted a long shot wide. And Robinson for Montreal to Lambert. Oh, and Hedberg ran into him. Canadians, Lemaire shoots one in. Digging back McEwen to get away from Tremblay. Now to Hedberg. Into the center ice area. Broken up and shot back in by Langway. Marois for the Rangers. Tremblay into forecheck on him, and he leaves it for Steve Vickers, number 8. Back on right wing to Marois. To Vickers. Vickers into the zone on left wing to Kitchuk. Shoots one, and Engblom just got a stick on it to block it. Hedberg for New York. Drops it to the point. Here's Marois. Checked by Risebrough, who flipped it to center, and Tremblay has a break. And breaking it up at the line, and a 2-on-1 break broken up by McEwen. Here are the Rangers. Hedberg trying to work around Langway, who poke-checked him nicely. Hedberg in there, and Risebrough, and Langway, and Vickers, and they push and shove, and in comes Tremblay and everyone else.
You know, Dick, Scotty's showing a lot of confidence in Engblom and Langway. It's a 2-1 hockey game with 10:40 to go, and he's playing two young, inexperienced players out there in a very, very important game. Looks like Engblom might be hurt.
I was going to say, I think Brian Engblom in that pileup has been injured. Certainly is acting that way.
Definitely has hurt his leg.
You mentioned earlier, Dick, he's had an ankle problem earlier in the playoffs.
Missed practice yesterday. He heard it 2 nights ago in Montreal, and he obviously has suffered some kind of an injury right here. With the score, the Canadiens 2, the Rangers 1. This is Stanley Cup 79.
Hey, John, she's done.
Great. Brought something to celebrate with.
Hey, all right.
Al and the guys have had some good times building this boat and sharing some Molson export.
What happens if she doesn't float? Can't you swim?
Time is right, your friends are here. You couldn't ask for a better beer. Export keeps on tasting great.
I like it.
When the time is right for great beer.
Neither team has had a shot on goal since the Rangers scored. But it's going to be interesting to see how the Canadiens play, Bobby. Do they try to get some offense going, or do they sit on the lead as we look at Hedberg's hit on Lambert?
Well, if they try to sit on this lead, they're going to be in trouble. It never fails when you try to sit on it, you get in very, very serious trouble. I don't imagine they will.
Loose puck in the center ice area. Duguay dropping it back into his own zone for Badney. That's Gainey in checking on Badney. Trying to force a face-off in the Ranger zone. He didn't succeed. Puck still loose on the boards. And Dave Maloney feeds it to Sheehan. He speeds across the line. High up over the glass as Sheehan went moving in smartly on left wing.
Bobby Sheehan is one of the Rangers who has played on Stanley Cup winners in the past. The others are Phil Esposito and Carol Vadnais, who were Bobby Orr's teammates with the Bruins in 1972, and Espo, of course, with Bobby in 1970 in Boston.
Young man from Weymouth, Massachusetts, who originally broke into the NHL in the Montreal organization. Now it is Sheehan, or at least Hickey, dumping it in. Then Lupiak cleared it and cleared it up over the glass.
And Bunny Larocque caught that one, an unofficial save for him, and tossed the puck up as a souvenir to a spectator. As you look at Gilles Lupian, who hasn't seen much action in the playoffs, but right here in a very, very critical moment, he's out there.
10:05 left in regulation time.
I stood beside Lupian before the game. I was calling him sir.
Here are the Rangers trying to work it in front. Savard slides across to try and break it up. Now Sheehan centered one. Here's Duguay in front of the net. Checked by Savard, and Lupiak cleared it, and the Canadiens come to center. Lemaire flips one in. Dave Maloney, number 26, back in possession to Duguay. Held in by Lupiak, shooting, and he blasted a drive, I guess off a stick. And it just missed.
Deflected off a Ranger. I mentioned to Steve Shutt the other night after the game in Montreal, the Canadiens won. I said, you know, the Rangers haven't gone after you and tried to hit you the way the Bruins did. And he said, nobody hits you the way the Bruins hit you. Here's that last chance for Lupian. I think it went off a Ranger stick, Bobby. Right there.
Hit a skater stick right there.
You know, the Canadiens haven't really had possession of the puck until that moment inside the Ranger blue line since the New York goal. They can't just afford to fire and fall back, as you say.
Shots on goal in this period. Each team with 2 on the game. The Canadiens 15, the Rangers 14. At a 2-1 Montreal lead with 9:38 left in regulation time. Reshner from behind his own net. To Plante, it's knocked down and held in by Lemaire. Davidson sets it up for number 3, Dave Parrish. Now to Plante. Plante working into the center ice area. Shutt, long shot. Davidson handles that. Parrish almost misplayed it, but recovers and then feeds it to Greshner. To Johnstone. Broken up. Plante fell as he tried to play the puck, and Lafleur comes up with it. Got it to center ice. Parrish for New York. Shooting one back in. Here's Robinson. Around on the boards. Canadiens get it outside the line. The Rangers get it right back in, but Robinson is there to feed it to center ice. Lemaire shot it to the Ranger line. Here's Greshner. Trying to weave his way across the Canadiens line. He did, but the Canadiens again quickly clear it out. Parrish fires one in. Canadiens holding a 2-1 lead as Robinson works it out on the right wing side, and Houle comes to center ice. To Gainey. Gainey trying to work around Marois, and McEwen came over to help out and clear it to center. Now it is Jarvis, squeezed out of the play by McEwen. Plante trying to get it out of the zone. Houle held it in. Houle centered, and Esposito with that long reach of his breaks it up. To McEwen. Mike McEwen in across the line to Johnstone, to Esposito, and Jarvis was there to break it up. And then clear it to center ice. Rangers, McEwen, number 27. Moves in, fires a long shot. Langway, number 17, is there. Got it to the line. Rangers hold it in. Here's McEwen shooting, and it's blocked in front of the net by Engblom, who went down and blocked the shot.
This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Madison Square Garden in New York.
Providing their share of the family income makes a lot of sense to a lot of women these days. And so does buying life insurance. Think about your future and talk it over with a Mutual Life of Canada agent.
Life is a mutual affair.
Phil Esposito ready to face off in the Canadian zone against Jacques Lemaire. 7:50 left in regulation time. From the face-off, the Canadiens can't clear it. A shot by Murdoch is blocked. Now Maloney into the corner. Here's Lemaire falling in against the boards, falling on top of the puck.
Very smart play on Lemaire's part. He went out to the blue line and broke his stick, and he threw his body against the puck in the corner. Very, very intelligent play.
7:40 left in regulation time. Since the goal by the Rangers at 6:06 to make it 2-1 Montreal, the Rangers have not had a shot on Dryden, and the Canadiens have had just one on Davidson. So, Bobby, the defenders have taken over. They're hanging on.
There's Mr. Vadnais, the veteran of this Ranger defense. Already on a face-off. Kachuk against Lemaire. Puck loose at the side of the Canadiens' goal. Now over onto the other wing, and Lafleur comes up with it. He flips it to the Ranger line. Vadnais against Schutt. Schutt trying to steal it. Vadnais holds his ground and cleared it on right wing for Hedberg. He flips it to center to Vickers, but Engblom knocks it back into the Ranger zone. Dave Maloney to Hedberg on left wing for Vickers. Vickers centers, one deflected, and Dryden makes the save on Kachuk, who deflected the centering pass from Vickers. And it's cleared away by Montreal. Now a loose puck at center. Robinson fires it back into the New York zone. Dave Maloney is there for Vickers. Off his stick, and Savard takes over. Savard got it to center. Napier along the boards with a couple of Rangers. Puck comes loose, but Dave Maloney then tries to hold it there, then clears it into the Montreal zone. Robinson for Lambert. Now to Mondeau. Over on the other wing to Napier, number 31. A 3-on-1 break for the Canadiens. Centered, Lambert, shot. Davidson, glove save.
Boy, that's the save of the game made by John Davidson. I'll tell you, a 3-on-1 break, and the big guy, Bobby, reached down and got the glove on it.
Talking about sweeping a puck up. He's going down, and it may look like he's just throwing his glove out, but he sees this puck. Just watch his play, and he's going down, and he sweeps it at the last second. Great save. Davidson has made, he's only had 17 shots, but he's made five outstanding saves. Tough saves.
Good pass by Napier. Lambert played it right, let it go as soon as he got it. Davidson was just super.
6:29 left in regulation time. Here's Hull, a quick shot for the faceoff that deflected wide, and Greshner has it for the Rangers. Rangers, Murdoch for Parrish, feeding it to Don Maloney down into the Canadian zone. Dryden is there to flip it out. Robinson clears it to center, and Parrish goes back after it for New York. Dropping it to his defense partner, Greshner, to Maloney on left wing. Maloney trying to flip it ahead, but Robinson is there, and he dumps it back into the New York zone. Maloney, the Ranger rookie. Up the middle for Esposito, on left wing for Greshner. Greshner couldn't get by Savard, and Savard cleared it back into the New York zone. Parrish for the Rangers, trying to get away from Gainey. Now Lemaire intercepts, but he was checked, and Greshner feeds to Don Maloney. He moved in on left wing. Savard was there to break it up, and the Canadiens' Tremblay shot it to center. Mike McEwen for Murdoch. And that's called back on an offside pass.
Live from Madison Square Garden in New York, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
If your engine isn't starting on cue, put in a fresh set of Champion spark plugs at least once a year. Champion in your engine can make beautiful music together. Get started with Champion.
Play just underway. 5:18 left in regulation time. Here's Lambert for Montreal. Shoot, they score! Tremblay, I believe, deflected it. And the Canadiens have a 2-goal lead.
Bobby, a bad pass in their own zone has cost the Rangers as the Canadiens intercepted and have, as Dan said, gone up by 2, and the silence is deafening here right now at Madison Square Garden, understandably so.
Lambert does the only thing he can here. He doesn't really have a play to make, so he shoots the puck towards the net. And I think it hits Tremblay's skate. I don't think he gets a stick on it at all. If he doesn't have a play, just shoots it off the skate, off Tremblay's skate.
Well, that's a pretty good rule of thumb, I guess, when you're in a spot where Lambert is. So Blake always said if you shoot it toward the net, a lot of them will end up going in.
And it doesn't have to be hard either. And so many hockey players want to work it in, work it in, work it in. Get it towards the net. Who knows what's going to happen?
Risebrough started the play to Lambert to Tremblay, who scores at 14:48. Mario Tremblay's third of the playoffs. And as Bobby Orr pointed out, deflecting in off his skate, and the Canadiens have a 3-1 lead. Here's Lafleur dumping one in. Davidson sets it up for Marois. Marois trying to get away from Lafleur. Now Mike McEwen is there for the Rangers. McEwen passes to Marois on left wing for Hickey. Hickey firing one into the Canadian zone. Langway is there to get it. Lost it behind the net to Hickey. Got it in front. Dryden steps out and goes to his knees and covered up on the puck.
Well, there you see the last two men in on the goal. Lambert, number 11, and Mario Tremblay, number 14. And that line of Dougie Risebrough center ice has been a very, very big factor for the Canadiens in this game tonight. 4:45 left in regulation time. There it is.
Shots on goal in the game. Canadiens 18, the Rangers 15. It has been more of a checking and defensive struggle than a wide open offensive display. But that, of course, defense is a very big part of hockey. Here's a check at the side of the net. Now Duguay trying to get it loose, knocked away. Chartrand cleared it. Here's Gainey along the boards for Montreal. Into the center ice area, and the Canadiens have a break. Moving in is Houle, trying to flip it in front for Jarvis. He's too closely checked by Sheehan. They go to the corner. Fall on top of the puck, and the faceoff will be in the Ranger zone. Now with 4:24 left in the third period.
Well, again, the shots on goals total in the period, as Bobby Sheehan is shaken up, is low. The Canadiens have had 5, and the Rangers have had just 3 here in this third period.
Sheehan goes to the bench for the Rangers. Faceoff will be to the right of Davidson. Esposito against Jarvis. Three to 1, Montreal leading. There's a quick shot by Jarvis wide of the net. And the Rangers' Badney works it to Don Maloney. To Murdoch, intercepted by Gainey. He moves in, shoots one, and his low shot was several feet wide. Don Maloney tries to come back. He's checked. Esposito to Dave Maloney. Got it into the zone, but Chartrand feeds to Robinson. Now to Jarvis. Jarvis clearing one into the Ranger zone, and Badney is there. Badney. At center to Don Maloney, off his skate, and Engblom cleared it back to center. Dave Maloney for New York. Fires one in, and the Dryden cleared it out. Thought the play was going to be offside. Now here's Risebrough. Shoots one into the Ranger zone. And Davidson sets it up back of the net for Dave Maloney. 3.5 minutes left in regulation time. Vickers to Esposito. He's checked in the play. And Tremblay cleared it away. Now stolen. And stolen back by Risebrough. Hedberg for the Rangers moving in. Anders Hedberg trying to work around the defense. Hedberg in the corner. Flips one in front, and it's poked away by Lambert. Tremblay is there to shoot it down into the Ranger zone. Going back after it is Maloney. Maloney to center ice to Vickers. 3 minutes left in the third period. 3-1, Montreal leading. Canadiens Dryden clears it to center. Canadiens race in after it. They have a break. Lemaire shoots. He scores! Lemaire set up by Steve Shutt. And it is 4-1 for Montreal.
Well, I can tell the folks across our audience that in the second intermission, off camera, Bobby Orr said to me, the Rangers are playing the style of hockey that sooner or later they're going to start getting caught. 2-on-1, 3-on-1. Bobby, here it is.
Shutt laid that puck out there for... Shutt lays it out here for Lemaire. No hesitation. He doesn't stop it. Shoots it on the move.
I think Dryden will get an assist. Didn't he clear it up the
Yes.
ice?
It started down there.
When a puck is laid out to you like that, when you don't have to stop it, pretty difficult for the goaltender to come up with that puck.
That's Ken Dryden's second assist of the playoffs. Is that some kind of a record for goaltenders? 17-10. Lemaire from Shutt and Dryden. And the Canadiens with 2 goals in less than 3 minutes of play here in the latter stages of the third period now have a 4-1 lead.
That goal is what you might call a rink emptier, as many of the fans head for the exits. Now Gainey trying to move in on left wing. Cleared away on the other side. Rangers get it to Farish, out to Vickers on left wing. Vickers flips one into the Montreal zone. Dryden setting it up for Robinson. Robinson tried to clear it, held in. Here's Greshner, shoots, and Dryden slides across. Centered again, and Robinson is there to clear it away. Robinson flips it into the center ice area for Greshner. Now it is Farish to Vickers. Vickers flips one in front for Esposito. He couldn't catch up with it. Centered out in front. Vickers on the other wing gets it in front of the goal. And Lambert has it for Montreal. Now less than 2 minutes to play in the third period. 4-1, Montreal leading. Lambert clearing it into the New York zone. And Greshner is there to Esposito. Now to Farish, ahead to Plante. Pierre Plante trying to work it across the line. Too well checked by Engblom, and back comes Tremblay for Risebrow. He falls on top of the puck, and the faceoff is going to be just outside the Ranger blue line now with 1:32 to play in the third period.
Well, if I had my choice of a Canadian to get the puck in this situation, Bobby, I think I might go with Lemaire all the way down the line.
He's got a pretty good shot, Dick. And no hesitation, and Davidson didn't have a chance on it. He's over. Davidson's got to go over and play the puck, and Shutt laid it out for Lemaire, and he really blasted it.
You can't let Shutt feed Lemaire and give Lemaire that much time to wind up and blast.
And there was a guy by the name of Lafleur following the play.
Here's Lemaire for Montreal. Clearing it into the Ranger zone. Going back is McEwen. 1:15 to play now. Canadiens with a 4-1 lead, and with the game seemingly well in control as they try and take the series lead. Johnstone for the Rangers. Across the line, Engblom breaks it up, and here's Lafleur at center ice. On right wing for Shutt. Shutt trying to work it in. McEwen knocks it back into the center ice area. Now it's Plante. Over on right wing for Johnstone. He's checked, and Lafleur feeds it to Steve Shutt. Shutt is tied up. It's cleared to center ice. Marois firing it back in. Just over 40 seconds remaining. Canadiens lead 4-1. Lafleur races after a loose puck. And Lafleur comes up with the puck behind the Ranger goal. Trying to center one. It was behind Lemaire. Gainey is there to get it. He dropped it all the way back into a zone to Savard. And we're down to 23 seconds left. Montreal leading 4-1. Canadiens. Lemaire shot it in. Marois clears it back out. It comes to Robinson. Out on the wing. Now 10 seconds left. At the Ranger line, it's Marois with a long shot. Dryden handles that one easily. Robinson behind the net as the buzzer goes to end game 2, and the Canadiens defeat the New York Rangers 4-1 and lead the series 2-1 and race out to congratulate Ken Dryden.
Well, he was a big man, well, not a busy man. There were times when he had to make some key stops in the hockey game. But when the Rangers did score to make it 2-1, they didn't get that much in the way of scoring chances from then on. Shots on goal in the final period, 6 apiece. The Canadiens win the game by a score of 4-1 in just a moment. Our 3-star selection.